Alexei. I'm one of the co-founders of Bob, and today I'll talk to you about hybrid L2s. So I know this is a BTCON conference, and I think, or we think, that the hybrid L2 design is essentially one of the major steps towards bringing DeFi back to Bitcoin. Maybe briefly a bit about myself. I've been working on Bitcoin for almost 10 years now, started back in 2015, worked on merge mining, color coins, payment channels, and then spent the last 5-6 years working on sidechains and bridges, trying to go from multi-sig to threshold signing to really making Bitcoin bridging more secure, and then recently contributed to the latest BitVM2 paper, and I'll talk about this a bit today. Now, why do we care about Bitcoin? And you've heard this pitch so many times, but it's still important to remember, right? Bitcoin is bigger than everything else combined, by far, and has been number one since its inception. But it has the least amount of DeFi, right? If you look at Ethereum's market cap and compare it to the TVL that we see on Ethereum and ETH2s, it's 30%. If you look at Bitcoin, its market cap and DeFi that we see across all Bitcoin L2s today and sidechains, it's 0.1%. And this is, in our opinion, one of the biggest opportunities in crypto for the last 15 years, because this is a 300x growth potential just to reach Ethereum levels. But why haven't we got there yet? Because Bitcoin has been hindered by this massive chasm between adoption and innovation. On Bitcoin, we've seen adoption. People are using Bitcoin to get more people to buy it, to hold it. But then 90% of the people start with Bitcoin and then they leave for other ecosystems because they can't do much with it. And that's where Bitcoin layer 2s, as you've heard today and we'll hear throughout the different talks, have this massive opportunity to get innovation back to Bitcoin. But it's not easy, right? If it were so easy, we would have had Bitcoin layer 2s many years ago. We've had many attempts at rootstock stacks and liquid try, and still we're not quite there yet. And there is 3 problems we need to solve to create a successful Bitcoin layer 2. Number 1, it's the Bitcoin bridge and security problem. We want Bitcoin security, and we want to be able to deposit Bitcoin into the layer 2 and always get it out. But there's 2 other problems that are often overlooked. It's the ecosystem problem. We need to have a way to bootstrap an ecosystem and go to market fast. Apps have to pick Bitcoin to deploy over Ethereum. And one of the realities today is that simply that's not the case. People go to Ethereum first because of the network effects, because of the ecosystem, because of the fast go-to-market there. And what we need to do first as our layer 2 on Bitcoin, the first step is to level the playing field, get to the same spot where Ethereum L2s are today, and then we can compete. And last but not least, liquidity. And I'm not only talking about Bitcoin liquidity. Yes, we can unlock a lot of BTC liquidity, but there's other things. There's stable coins, there's other assets that we want to trade against. And if we cannot offer that, then it's not interesting, right? You can have a very good Bitcoin bridge, but if you cannot trade Bitcoin against stablecoins or other assets, nobody will care. And solving all 3 of these things at the same time is very, very difficult. And this is why, to this date, we still are not at the same level as ETH2s. And this is why, with Bob, we decided to take a different approach, a radical approach of combining the best of both worlds. Our vision is to create a hybrid that uses Ethereum for innovation, leverages the infrastructure, the power uses, the liquidity, the on and off ramps, the UX, account abstraction, all the things that you see on Ethereum today to bootstrap, and then plug in Bitcoin, security, liquidity, and the global diverse user base to grow and outgrow the Ethereum ecosystem over the next couple of years. And that is the biggest opportunity, in my opinion, in this field right now. And the way to do this, and the way we're working on this, is to create a layer 2 that uses Bitcoin for security, uses Bitcoin for the native bridge, specifically through BitVM, and then allows Ethereum to connect to Bob, in this case, using a native bridge that is secured by Bitcoin. And for those of you who are familiar with ETH layer 2s, right, the way they work is that on Ethereum, normally, you would look at Ethereum fraud proofs, right? Arbitrum, Optimism, Base, the ones that have fraud proofs. If you're depositing into the rollup on Ethereum and you want to get your assets back, you will wait to see if there's a fraud proof, and you will verify the fraud proof on Ethereum. Now, the cool thing about Ethereum, and anyway, in general, smart contract chains, is that they can verify the state of Bitcoin. Ethereum can easily read Bitcoin transactions and verify that they actually happened on Bitcoin using a so-called light client. So an Ethereum smart contract can check if a fraud proof happened on Bitcoin. And that's exactly what we do. We ensure that Bobs and other L2s that follow this design, their security is based on Bitcoin. And then we can verify whether the assets are safe from Ethereum by just looking at Bitcoin. And the cool thing here is that what this unlocks is a unique opportunity to have users from Bitcoin deposit BTC and always get it out. But at the same time, Ethereum users can deposit ETH, ERC20s, and so on, and know that they can always get their money back to Ethereum as long as Bitcoin is safe. And if there is one thing that the entirety of crypto and Web3 can agree on, is that Bitcoin is the largest, most fundamental, and most secure network out there. And that's why we believe that with this hybrid design, we can create a platform where we can cater to not only Bitcoin, but both Ethereum and Bitcoin users. And in theory, or in practice, users of every other single Web3 platform. And this is our vision. Our vision is to achieve the real flippening. Not that big Ethereum price goes above Bitcoin, no. The real flippening here is that we change how Bitcoin DeFi works. Instead of me always having to wrap my Bitcoin to another chain, wrap Bitcoin to Ethereum, wrap Bitcoin to Solana, wrap Bitcoin to Tron, they come back to Bitcoin. Because now, with this hybrid design, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, Avalanche, Sui, anything that has smart contracts, can deposit their native tokens into the hybrid platform, for example, Bob. And as long as Bitcoin is secure, their users can get it out. And as you can see, this compares a lot to exchanges and platforms that offer trading, because exchanges connect to many different L1s. But the difference is that you trust the exchange, and that's fine. Exchanges are one of the most important cornerstones of onboarding users. But once users are in DeFi, they should not have to trust anyone. And with this design, you can deposit Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, other tokens into a platform that is built on Bitcoin, secured by Bitcoin, and trade among these assets, and you can always withdraw to each and every underlying chain as long as Bitcoin is secure and you don't need any third-party bridges. And this is how we bring DeFi back to Bitcoin. We position Bitcoin as the center of the entire Web3 ecosystem, and we position Bitcoin as the interoperability hub, if you want to call it that way. And one of the milestones on this journey is BitVM2, and we'll talk about this on the panel next. But one of the big milestones that we've achieved is the release of BitVM2 and the BitVM Bridge paper. And in short, BitVM2 gets us very close to Ethereum rollups. We're almost as good in the design as ETH rollups today. We can allow anyone to challenge, so anyone on Bitcoin can make sure that nobody can steal Bitcoin from within a BitVM. And we only need 3 transactions to complete a challenge, which is a major improvement since the first BitVM version. And it's only been since December till now. Now imagine how much we're progressing, and we'll talk about this in the next panel. And BitVM Bridge is a full spec of a trust minimized bridge. So instead of trusting multi-sigs, we go to you only trust one person that will do the challenge. And I see we have exactly about 1 minute left. So what we'll do is end with a 1-minute BitVM2 explainer, and then we'll transition into the panel. So think about BitVM as us wanting to verify a program, right? This could be a program to check a bridge. Now, these programs are very big. So the first thing we do is we compress them into a, for example, Snark. Now, these are between 1 and 3 gigabytes right now if implemented in Bitcoin script. So we take the Snark and we actually write it using Bitcoin script. What many people don't know is that you can write any program in Bitcoin script, anything, but they're very, very big because Bitcoin script does not have a lot of functionality, so the programs turn out to be very big. And what we do then, because we cannot run a 2 gigabyte or 1 gigabyte program in a Bitcoin transaction, we split it up into smaller transactions that are at most 4 megabytes each. So each of these sub-programs can actually fit into a Bitcoin transaction. And what we do then is, during setup time, when we bridge in, the operator commits to running this program. So he tells everyone, okay, I'm going to run exactly this. And during peg out, when you want to get the Bitcoin out, the operator just, when they send you the Bitcoin correctly, right, they tell to Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin population, on-chain, hey, this is exactly what I did, and you can see here is the result of the snark verifier. And the snark verifier, for example, says, okay, yes, you did everything correctly. Now, if you did not do everything correctly, if the operator was trying to steal, and they only claim that the program was done correctly, so actually the snark verifier is saying no, but you claim that it says yes, it's true, then a user will challenge. And when you challenge, you force the operator to reveal all these intermediary results, because we have these different subprograms, and what we do is we publish these intermediary results in a transaction. And what we do then, and that's the beauty of BitVM, using this information, anyone on Bitcoin, any single person can show that the operator lied, that we're trying to steal, by just taking one of these programs. And in our example here, right, the second to last program was wrong, so that's what the operator changed. For example, this is where they changed the recipient address instead of the user to their own. And the only thing we need to do is we run exactly that subprogram in a Bitcoin transaction and show that the result is different to what the operator is claiming. And that's it. And that's how we prove that the operator lied. That's how we prevent them from stealing. And that's how we make sure that nobody can steal your money from a BitVM bridge. And you can check out the paper there if you're interested in the technical setup. It actually starts in a high level and then it goes more and more technical as it progresses. And with this, thank you so much. And just to end this on a positive note, we firmly believe that with BitVM, we can not only create Bitcoin rollups, but we can create a new generation of layer 2s that not only connect to Bitcoin, but to all other networks and use Bitcoin for security and, of course, as presented, interoperability. Thank you so much.